Hey, hello, and welcome back to Good Knit Kisses. I'm your host, Kristen, and today is Q&A day, Monday, and I'm usually here on Monday and Wednesday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time or 10 p.m. Eastern, or a.m. Why am I saying p.m.? And anyway, I'm so glad you're here today. If you catch me on the replay, be sure and write replay and ask your question, or catch me on the next broadcast. And Monday is the day where I answer some of your questions and ask me your question, and I will see if I can answer today. So Wednesday I usually kind of show you what's up, what's going on, and what's going to come up at the end of the week. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well today. Be sure and jump on and say hello. Love interacting with you. Good morning, Joanne. I see you hopped on. So glad you're here. It has been a lovely weekend. It is a holiday for our Canadian friends. I hope you guys are having a great day. We've got Memorial Day coming up in America, and it's Victoria Day today. Did I get that right, Carol? Good morning, Carol. I see you hopped in. Hi, Heather. And Robin. Hi, Robin. How are you guys? It's raining there, Heather? It rained all weekend. It rained all weekend here, too. Well, not all weekend. I say it rained all weekend. It rained at the right spots. And we were able to get out the kids of the pool. They were desperate to get to the pool, and I thought it was a little cool, so I got my toes in, and that's about it. Our community pool was open. We don't have our own personal pool, but we have one in our community, so it was open. And I'm in Texas, by the way, so I'm sorry for those of you who still have snow. So that's the benefit of Texas, except you don't want to be here in August or late July. Good morning, everyone, as you hop on. Carol, yes, I got it right. Okay, so happy Victoria Day to my Canadian friends. I hope you have a great day. And next week is Memorial Day, and my kids will be home with me on Monday next week. And my husband, he's going to take off all next week. Yay! So that means my broadcasts probably will be short next week. They usually get up before me, though. So they're like, oh, not my husband and I. But the kids, they're like bounding away. And I'm like, you're old enough, get some cereal. Go chill out and play. Oh, anyway. Hey, everyone, jumping on. I see Brenda. Hi, Hannah. Hi, Bridget. Carol says I got soaking wet every time. Oh, you took Buckley out yesterday. I got soaking wet. Oh. Well, at least you're not getting snowed on. I hope Buckley is doing okay today. I hope he's having a good day. You knitted a bell. Yes, Heather, you were experimenting, right? And she showed her bell on our page. So if you go look on our page, she was sharing, you were experimenting, right? Like, I don't think you had a pattern. You were just like, were you learning increases and decreases? That's so great. I was like, what is she doing? What is this? So I was just like a flat panel bell, right? Robin says, I was wondering how you know Carol and Joanne. Oh, I was wondering how you know Carol and Joanne that work with you on Good Knit Kisses, since they live in completely different places. That is a great question. Okay, so, I love that knitting and crochet and just brings this online community together. So a while back, I decided to, when I started making videos, I got to know Mikey with the Crochet Crowd up in Canada. And we got to know each other so well that we decided to have a retreat. So we actually hosted a retreat together with Elizabeth Ham, the lady that I worked on. Actually, I happen to have her book right in front of me. Our book. I worked on this book with just this past year, and that little shawl that's in it. Anyway, but before we ever had a book together, we did a retreat in Denton, Texas, and had several classes and 30 ladies and gentlemen, and went to an alpaca farm, and it was so fun. Anyway, met Carol. She's fantastic. And I had known her online a little bit because Mikey knew her. And so we had chatted back and forth. He was like, Carol's great. And I just got to know her, and especially after meeting her in person, I think within a year or so, Carol, correct me if I'm wrong, you became an admin on my group. So I was pressured to have a group. That sounds funny. And Facebook, we have those private groups and everything. And I was in a loom knitting group, and it was strictly loom knitting. And a lot of people were frustrated because they couldn't post other things like crochet and knitting as well as loom knitting, even if they already did it. Because the people who only did loom knitting only wanted to see loom knitting, or they're like, I want to have things in different places, like compartmentalize it, which is completely, I get it. Totally get it. You want to go to one page and see one thing, you want to go to another. I get it. Like enveloping, you know. But anyway, so I felt pressured too, and other people were like, you have the following and you do all this stuff, so like you should start. So anyway, I started a page, and I got to know her, and she became my admin much later on. And anyway, long story short, then along came Joanne, and I noticed Joanne had she always had great answers for people. She was really sweet and kind, and same with Carol. But I never got to meet Joanne in person. In fact, Joanne and I have never met in person other than like FaceTime, Messenger video stuff like that. So I've yet to give her a real hug. We've given virtual hugs. I know her kids and her pets. And anyway, so yeah, yeah, I've even got to see husbands on video chats, but not not her husbands, Carol's too. Jack. And so anyway, it's just been really cool and to get to know them. And so but before I ever met her on video chat or whatever, I had kind of observed her for about a year and a half, like her postings in my group. And I was just, it's like my kindness meter, I was like, how kind is she? How helpful is she? How, this and that. And so I just noticed that she had certain skills. And so I went to her and talked to her, and anyway, found out she would be a good fit for Good Knit Kisses, and it worked out really well. And you guys all see the benefit because she's done really well at the website. Carol's done really well at the website. Carol was helping me first before anybody. She was helping me do some blog stuff. She was helping me do the newsletter stuff when I was still figuring things out on the website too. So anyway, the long story short, that's how I met them and know them and get to know them more. So, and then we kind of have like meetings on FaceTime, sometimes after this broadcast, sometimes just randomosity through the day, or we'll text each other. We've even done, by the way, if you don't know, Facebook has this great feature on Messenger. So if you don't have the Messenger app, you should totally get it. I was one of those that like waited forever to like get the Messenger app because I was like, why do I have to have a separate Messenger app? But either on the phone and also on the computer, if you put together a video chat, like let's say you have friends or family in multiple parts of the country or world, you can even have a video chat for free using the Messenger app. Now you're on your data plan, but if you're on your Wi-Fi, it's totally fine. But you can have like a conversation going in a private like message in Messenger, and you hit that video button and invite them to the call, and it will call them. I actually, the first time I tested it, Joanne was shopping, and maybe Carol was shopping too, or whatever. Maybe she was doing her laundry. I don't know. So anyway, it's a really cool thing to connect people. So good morning, everyone. I see Jill and Lori. Oh, Heather, you were playing around making that bell. That was awesome. Martha says, hello. I got a few nice days after bad storms. You're in Oklahoma. Oh, wow. I'm so glad you're okay then. I'm glad tornado weather is kind of going away from us slowly. We're getting better into summer, but you never know. These tornadoes around here. I thought there was going to be a big one the other night, and there wasn't. Because in Texas we face the same thing. Heather says, I know how to decrease, but you not figured out how to increase. Oh, well, one of the actually, I need to make a decrease series of videos, but I actually have help for you for the increase. So I have a whole series of increase videos for the needles. If you'll go check out the Good Knit Kisses YouTube page and go to the search bar, not at the top of YouTube, but like in my channel, and type increase, how to knit increases, there's like 4 videos I have. So you've got yarn over increases, knit in front and back. You've got, I got a notification. Anyway, I've got all of them. So, and I show the samples of showing them left and right, lifted, increased, all that. So let's see. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Ada. Ah! Heather says I made something else and it looks like a pile of poo. Sorry. Maybe just put some eyeballs on it and it's an emoji. That's not funny, is it? We have to make fun of our knitting. I wish I had like my old, let's see. No, I don't have it in front of me. I should show y'all my first hat. I kept it because I was trying to make a visor hat, and it's like real lacy and open. In fact, I made up this stitch on it. And now I'm like, man, I need to go back and look at it because it's kind of cool for a shawl or something. But anyway, I tried to make a visor, a brim, and I could never find the directions because I didn't know how to look for them. You know what I mean? Like, you try to look for something, but like you don't know what you don't know, so you don't search for the right name, especially when you're in the very, very beginning of learning. And so, yeah, it fit like a Cabbage Patch doll. And, yeah, and I did it on like a really large gauge loom. So there's like massive spaces in between. And I was working with this really thin, well, it was not thin, it was worsted weight yarn, but it seemed thin. And it was 1 strand of black yarn. We all want to do like the things we shouldn't when we first begin, right? And I didn't have anybody by my side holding my hand going, honey, you can't use that. You need to use this over here. Trust me. I needed that. It's good though. I made my mistakes. Martha says, I see you have different yarn behind you. Yeah, I threw in some pop. Someone said something the other day about all my green yarn that I'd had there forever. So I was like, oh, I'm going to throw in some of this other and kind of change it up. So the other yarn is still here for the sweater I need to make. So, Heather, yeah, if only it was in brown. Hey, Susan, good morning. Ada, you were having a hard time with your texting, girl. Yes, Joanne, sometime we'll meet. I hope so. Heather says, I'm still trying to get my tightness right. Heather, yeah, just keep practicing. In fact, if you will like not worry about the increases and the decreases for one of them and just make like a really wide, nice scarf and just keep going, make like a good 8-inch, 9-inch wide sample, and just continue the knit stitch, not even changing to purl or anything. That helps with you practicing your tension and not trying to like go back and fix it or anything like that. And then, yeah. So just keep that up. And, if you can kind of sit for longer periods in doing that, that will help you working out your tension. It's just a matter of doing it over and over. And so if you can kind of sit there for a while, your body starts learning those mechanics, making sure you're nice and relaxed and not distracted. Maybe put on some music or listen to an audio book or something. That way visually you're not distracted and so you're just like in your zone. Get some tea or coffee and just hit it. If you're able. Now, if you have a bunch of screaming toddlers hanging around and that's normal, then I guess do that. I don't have screaming toddlers anymore. Not that mine were screaming, but their volume is just always loud. Andrea. Oh yeah, I hope you don't lose power either. Lightning. That reminds me. Last night I watched Sweet Home Alabama. Oh, that was great. I was working on some samples for next month's tutorials. Watched Sweet Home Alabama, and they have that whole thing about lightning and the glass and the sand things. If you haven't seen it, go watch Sweet Home Alabama. Old movie, great, classic. Reese Witherspoon. Hi, Steve, Elizabeth. I never know. Is it Steve or is it Elizabeth? Who is on here? I'm sure this is a joint account. It's probably Elizabeth, but I don't want to make an assumption. Carol is simply amazing. Carol says, Joanna is simply amazing with the website. You too. Love you guys. Your voice sounds like you got a cough, a cold. I'm tired. I stayed up late and then I slept in. So you're getting me I haven't been up for a while. This is me first thing. This is me, brushed my hair, like dabbed a tiny bit of lip color on and nothing else. And so I was trying to sleep in. My husband's still there. So he has an oddball schedule. And so anyway, I was like kind of milking the time, just kind of in the moment. So just laying there. It's so quiet today. It's awesome. So I don't have a cold. I'm just, I guess, tired. Joanne. Oh, she's saying, hi, Elizabeth. Okay. So, she did say Elizabeth. Okay. I must have missed that. Lori, we made it through the tornado. Oh my gosh. Oh no, but, well, I hope everyone's okay. Yeah, Heather, for your first time knitting, that does look good. Your bell looks, I mean, I could tell it's your first time, but it was really good. You're doing great. I mean, the fact that you're playing with the decreases and then you were trying to like mirror them, that's really cool. That's really cool. It shows me that you are worried about stitch count, that you think about those things. And those are great things to have. It's also really good to just keep going and then like mess up. I know. And then like learn how to go backwards. Like start tink your work, like knit backwards. Tink is knit back, spell backwards, and undo your stitches one at a time, and then maybe go back and kind of play with that. And so if you just kind of see it as play and not mistakes or anything, yeah, you're gonna do really great. That's the great part about the needles is you can go back and you can fix some mistakes. Now, I'm not a know-it-all on fixing all mistakes, and I've had people go, oh, and you could fix a cable if you had dropped something in it. I'm like, no, Mama doesn't do that just yet. So anyway, some people are really good like that. I try it, but not on like some really complicated stuff. Like weird lace stuff that moves and stuff. No, I don't do that. Yeah, post a picture later, Heather. That'd be great. Okay, Robin says, has anyone made a sun hat on the loom? I've seen some videos online that might be able to decide, try something now. Okay, so a sun hat. Oh, check Revelry. I want to say that I've seen something. Now, there is a pattern by Denise Johnson that's on the Good Knit Kisses, and it's a cowboy hat. And it's for like infants and toddlers. And so she does like this brim. And so if you'll go and look at it and see how she did it, it might give you an indication of how you might want to do it. And sometimes when you see patterns like that, go and look, like, because you might say, well, I like the hat base that they did, or I like the brim that this other person did. And don't be afraid to use different gauges. Don't be afraid to use a smaller gauge for, say, doing a brim. Versus doing like the hat, and you might, double up or single up on your yarn. Like you don't have to do the same gauge on a brim. Like if it's going to stand out different than you do on the main part of the hat. In fact, some patterns change, like needles might change back and forth between them too. We don't do it as often on the loom, but like we'll do, I don't know if I can show this to you. I didn't show it to you. Like this is, has a stretchy ribbing, and it was made on a smaller needle than this. So like, now this is a ribbing, so it's going to go inward, but it's much more inward than the rest of the hat. So see how wide this is? And so it's, like the needles got changed into a larger needle. So anyway, you can do that on the loom. It's just not, it's not as fun. I don't know. You could even like try, like say you're working on the all-in-one loom, or not that you could do a sun hat on that, but maybe like the 28 inch, which has a larger gauge to it, peg count. You could even like use all the pegs for it, and then for the brim, and then maybe like skip every other peg and double up your yarn to make the main part of the hat. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. And you can make this thing sideways. You can make your hat, and then make the and bind it off, and then make the brim, and then stitch it onto it. So anyway, good morning everyone. Let's see who else is hopping on there. Oh yeah, your tablet's controlling it for you, Ada. It's for a baby toddler, Robin. Oh, well then the cowboy hat may really help you in seeing that. Hi, okay, I'm gonna see if I can say this right. Reggiani? Reggiani? Maybe you say it like that. You're from Brazil? Welcome. Hi, let's see, Alicia says, when I started eliminating, no one could help me. Made 2 blankets, lots of hats for my cousin in pre-K class. Oh, that's great. Yeah, yeah, a lot of loom knitters start off and nobody's really helping them, and so it's really great. And then and it's nice when you finally get online and you're like, oh my gosh, there's these people doing this. Why didn't I see this before? You know, and it's good. You kind of have some stuff under your belt. So, yeah, I wish that when I had started off, I really just wanted someone to be able to walk in the yarn store with me. Anybody want that? Like, give me some love button. If you ever you just want like a yarn shopping buddy, you know, just to like walk around and be like, what's that? Or like when you first started, wouldn't it be nice, like if you had somebody like walking around and be like, what, you know, what's this kind of yarn and what's this kind of yarn? Is this appropriate for this? And then like not be annoyed by all your questions. or if you're like, you don't know what to say, like you would really, because I kind of wanted someone to just like walk me down the aisle and be like, and this is where they have this, and this is where they have that. I'm like, I wanted a tour guide. I needed a tour guide, yarn Barbie. That's what I wanted. That would be cool, right? That would be nice. Nobody in the stores knows stuff like that. Like when I worked at MJ Designs in college, which is like a branch out. It used to be Michael's MJ Designs, but the brothers like split. Anyway, so I worked at MJ Designs. I was in the floral department, and I approached like crafting that way. When someone came into me doe-eyed and they're like, I want to do this thing, where do I begin? I would like walk them over to the aisle and I'd be like, okay, so these are some of the tools that we have, and then you can start here, and there's this and this and this, and kind of like let them know like where this sort of format, like if you're wanting to do this kind of thing, it's over in this part, this, you know, and kind of walk them through it. But I don't think people do that anymore. I mean, nobody told me to do that. It was not within the job description. I just did that. Hey, April, you're in North Carolina. You watch on replay. Time for the gym. Okay. Oh, you'll watch on replay. Okay, cool. All right. We'll see you later. I hope those skinny jeans are gonna fit. Martha, you're so sweet and helpful. When I try new things and get upset, I just want to totally quit yarn craft. Then after watching you, it's encouraging. Oh, good, Martha. I'm so glad. Yeah, I mean, you know, we all experience different frustrations in learning things. Yeah, I mean, I do. Like last night, I texted Joanne, and I was like, this stitch pattern is giving me fits. Like, there's some math involved in it, and I'm like, I'm not seeing it. Like, it was actually Saturday night when I first did it, and I ended up having to do something very, what I saw as old school, and I was like, I'm so dumb, you know, I should know this. But really, it was that this thing was kind of built weird. So, anyway, I was stressing because I try and stress some of those things for you guys, because I was trying to convert a loom pattern or a knitting pattern to the loom, and then I was like trying to imagine what loom that might be used, and then like try and figure out what would the best cast on would be, because the loom is not quite enough pegs, but it's like the best mass produced one that I can suggest that would be available to most people. And so anyway, I was like trying to figure out, okay, what would the cast on be and what would this be? And then I'm like, I've hit my limit. Miss Jo is super smart and she could help me. So we turned to someone that we think can help us. Yeah. And kind of like hash it out together. Lori, same here. I started, that wave blanket you did on your video. Oh, sweet. The chevron one. You messed up somewhere and tried to tink back, but ended up frogging the whole thing back. You know what? But hopefully, you didn't do it too far where you got it, and then you're learning something in the meantime. Yeah, and I try and teach, like, when I do my videos, I try and teach like some other tips along the way. So like I really want people to if you can, watch the whole thing or really kind of listen to the whole thing and kind of maybe take some mental notes or even physical notes. You know, take the pattern, write it down, write down the conversion things that I talk about, maybe some of the tips. That, to me, that's my ideal viewer. Oh, I'm hitting my microphone, sorry. That's my ideal viewer, because you'll catch some things that maybe you don't catch when you have the yarn in your hands and you're trying to work on whatever project it is. Classic. I got someone, if you're on here, I'm sorry. I got really frustrated by a viewer who was writing me, and she said, yeah, the link didn't have the loom knitting pattern and you don't have it, so I need it. And I'm like, okay, well, this was a conversion. This is not my pattern. I'm working and doing some videos for Yarnspirations, but I don't have any kind of control over like being able to say, hey guys, can you just amend this pattern and make it loom knitting and publish? Like, no, they're like making 300 patterns a year and they're really busy working on this other project that I know about, and I can't just ask them to do that. That's just, it doesn't work like that. And so what I did is I suggested in a couple of videos where I'm translating some needle stuff over to loom, I'm like, print out your pattern, write down these things as we go, and then you'll have it. And she was not happy because she was like, well, I don't need the video. I can read patterns. I just want the pattern. And I'm like, well, I can't help you because it's all in the video. Like, I don't really feel like I need to apologize for saying, I don't feel like I need to listen to my video to all the tips that I gave on the conversion and then write it all out in someone's comment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have time for that. And I don't think I didn't say it that way to her, but it's like, I need other people to be, you know, like more understanding. Like, come on, anyway, I can't do that. I think it's understandable, and I don't feel like I'm complaining to ask people to just allow a little bit of a courtesy. So I'm getting no love or likes or hearts, so hopefully I'm not alone in that, and hopefully people do agree with me. But if you don't, I'm sorry. It's just really frustrating to know that I've spent so much time trying to work out all the tips and make the video and make all the samples and do this other stuff, and then I get that kind of feedback, and they kept coming back and forth with me, and I'm like, okay, well, then I can't help you. Like, and this is why I don't respond to questions like that sometimes, because it's like, yeah, I got nothing. Or when someone gets mad because I'm going too fast, I'm like, there is a slow control button. If you're on a laptop or desktop, you can make that button. You can make me go as slow as you want. I sound like a crazy person. I'm like, and then you do this, and you wrap the yarn around. You know, like, I have no control over that. You have all the controls at your fingertips. Anyway, I'm going to stop my bee session. Hey, Ann in Michigan, I'm so glad you're here. Alicia says the increase and decrease seems to be easier in the needles than in the loom. Yeah, because of moving stitches around. Yeah, it can feel that way. It is easier to see them on the needles, but I mean, once you get it, and you have, like, especially if you have a pattern where it moves a whole lot of stuff and you get into a certain rhythm, if it's not too many of them, it can be just fine. Like, it doesn't really take too much extra time. Hello, Andrea. I'm yet to try some Karen cakes and other brands. Have only hit Australia and are hard to get them, but wanting to try Adelaide, Spotlight, or Linecraft stores, see if they have in stock, but you don't drive. It's a distance from where you are. Yeah, there are several blogs. I've seen people comparing these. Go Google it, and different brands and different, well, some brands have multiples of these, color changing yarns. So there's a couple of blogs that I've read that are really nice, and they compare them all, and then they'll say, oh, took me this far, or this is the difference. So, hey, good day, Lisa in Australia. I am a privileged. I got to meet a lady. Do you follow Jenny King? Jenny King Designs. She is a crochet designer. She has Jenny King Designs. She actually has a whole bunch of ladies on her team, and she's from Australia. I got to meet her on the Knit and Crochet Now show, and actually she has a bigger following in the States than she does in Australia, as she said. But she's responsible for I'm gonna get this name wrong, but if you go to Jenny King Designs, you'll see it. But she does this thing like square, like making things on the square. So it's all crochet, but you can make any garment from a square for any size. And so she teaches that, and it's really cool. Good morning, Elizabeth. Oh, hope my area wasn't affected by the storms. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Well, there was some other places around me that got more stormy, but I don't think there was anything happening there. So, hey, Lorraine and Malta, welcome. Oh, thanks, Carol, for that hat pattern, for the cowboy pattern. So the link is in there for you, Robin. Yeah. And then there's also so the cowboy hat pattern is there. There's also like a diaper cover pattern in it. There may be some booties, or she talks about linking to there's another lady. I'm trying to remember whose booty pattern it was, but anyway, there might be a link to another YouTuber's video pattern on booties, so that would be good. What's the best yarn for the cowboy hat? I've had some cotton, but something different. I think she used worsted on that hat. Yeah. You know, I mean, if it's for a toddler or baby, then I would definitely use yarn. I wish I had it sitting here, but if you go on Annie's website, Annie's, you know, the people who do Annie's Crochet, I think it's anniescatalog.com, or Annie's Craft Store USA, .com. No, anniescraftstore.com. Anyway, if you go on there, they actually have some raffia, and, it's on a spool, and you know that you can actually make some things from that. So so if you really wanted a real straw hat, I mean, you probably had to buy several spools of it, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I've used that for actually a flower brooch. Did it in this book. So this is what the raffia looks like that, and then the one that got kind of, you'll see how it looks, yeah, like this. So this has like a woven thing, so you can kind of see how it comes out. So it's got multiple colors. And that would be really cool if you really are wanting to do like your own little straw hat. So, let's see. Last day I can get on while we move. Oh, Marie, well, good luck in your moving. Okay, Carol says, I need someone to say, what do you plan on making with that yarn? If I say I don't know, but it's pretty. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Carol and I have gone yarn shopping before, and purple was the order of the day that day. It was fun. It was fun yarn shopping with her. We went to Stitches, Texas, which, by the way, I have not registered for yet, but if anybody decides to come down for Stitches, Texas, let me know, and I can try working that out. Maybe we could do a meetup for lunch or dinner or something. Have a group of people. That would be fun. I have to look at the dates though, but I think registration did open for that. So, yeah, so check that out. Joanne, Math Geek. I'm behind on all my comments. Okay, Heather says, do you have a video on adding different yarn when knitting on a needle? Yeah, actually, I have a video that's coming out this Friday that shows, well, I think I have another video with adding yarn, but I for sure have a video that I edited over the weekend that comes out on Friday on Yarnspirations, which will come out. I'll publish it again next month, but it is changing yarn and actually carrying yarn up the side if you need to carry the yarn up the side. So one is just adding it straight in and then carrying the yarn. Oh yes, I do have one. The chevron blanket, the one with the ripple and ridge, that video that I just released last Friday on needles, and I already have one on the loom. So that shows just adding in the new color, but this this week on Friday, you'll see on the Yarnspirations website, I'm doing a blog, and then you'll see it on their YouTube page. I'll show adding the same way, and then I'll show carrying it up the side, because two things get seamed together. So you'll get to see me carrying yarn. So I've never shown that, but it will be exposed on the edge, but it gets hidden because it's getting seamed. So yeah. Sandra, I have been looking basic. Okay, that's a great question. Okay, so she's asking about multiples. That's great. Let me see if I've got a piece of paper. Maybe I can like do like a little thing here. Oh, I didn't grab a pen. Oh, there's one. I have a really messy desk here, but maybe I can flip my camera and show you. You want me to show you? We'll do a quickie little thing. Do you have a particular multiple pattern that you see? Because this one says +5. I'll see if I can explain it verbally. No, I won't. I'm going to flip the camera. Hold. Hey. Okay, welcome to my messy table here. All right, so let's see if I can zoom in. Okay, so say she has a pattern that says, I'm a multiple of, let's see, what's a good one? 10 plus 5. Okay, so what that means is it's always going to be like the 10 plus 5 is, it's a flat panel, meaning you're working back and forth. You're not going in around. Okay, and so it could mean like you could have some directions here, like this is the row. Okay, and then you have some directions here, and you may have like an asterisk here, and then some directions in between the asterisk, and then another one, and then maybe something else here, and it says repeat between these two things until the last X amount of stitches, and then it has here. So when you see a multiple like that, usually what happens is this 10 is usually in between here, and then you may have this number split on either side. Now the reason for this number is it makes it to where the there could be a couple of different reasons to make an edge. Okay, it lines up an edge on the project, or it may even need just +1 because it's an offset pattern, and so it needs that extra one to help it achieve the look that it's supposed to do. Like you may have increases and whatever, and so it makes it fix the pattern. However, like if you change it, if you say, okay, no, I want to do this in the round, then you can take that number off and you can eliminate those edge pieces. And the edge pieces a lot of times are just to keep it flat and not curling in. Okay, because it might be because this is more of a stockinette type. Even if it's lace work, it may make the edges roll. So like say I have a 10 plus 5, okay, and I want 4 repeats. Okay, I am not going to say this is equal to 15 and say times 4. That's not what I do. What I do is I look at this number alone and I say 10 times 4 is 40 plus 5. So I cast on 45. Okay? So if I had 10 in this scenario up here, it could be because of the way that it's done. It may even be like, hey, this says knit 2 here. Okay, knit 2, and then this is knit 3, and then on the next row it might actually say purl 3 blah 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 purl 2, and so on. So like it anyway, so that's what it is. So you can kind of catch it. Sometimes you can catch a pattern, like it won't even tell you the multiple, and you can kind of figure it out. So like what I was trying to do is I had this pattern last night that has this I had to do something with 10, and then I had an asterisk, and then I had to do something with 10 over here. Okay, and so this multiple in here ended up being Oops, I'm writing multiple weird. 10. Okay. Ended up being 10. But, and then all the rows, like it had rows 1 through 4, and that all fell in line. So I was like, oh, okay. So it's a multiple of 10 plus 20, because I have 10 on either side. And I could choose to, because basically it made a garter stitch on the sides here, I could choose to maybe just do this, but it would kind of roll on me. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I could doctor this and say, well, it's actually only 10, and maybe I'm going to make this 5, and this is 5. So you can kind of tweak your pattern, and I can kind of, anyway. So it worked out, but you don't know this until you make a sample. Okay, you can swatch it, make a sample, just, cast on, make like a 4x4 sample, okay, or 6x6 or whatever. You don't have to, you don't have to sweat. Like, I don't know if it's going to make a 4. I don't know if it's going to be a 5 or it's going to be a 3. That's fine. That's fine. Just attempt to make something about, 4 inches or, 5 inches, and then see what you get and measure it. Don't sweat it. I used to sweat that. Don't sweat that. But the problem with this one was, it said to, my first setup row had 10, and then it did this thing where it says KFB, knit front and back, and then I had to knit 15 and then repeat until the end. Well, that number, it doesn't work out to look like this number. And so I had to do a lot of math to figure that out. But that's not something you'll do as a beginner. So anyway, I hope that kind of answers some of the multiple. Some of it you can totally take care of yourself. Some of it you may have to ask a friend or like a knitting store. That's what's really great if you ever have a local knitting store. If you don't, asking friends, asking friends online, if you have a personal conversation off the side with someone that like maybe you have someone in a group and you're like, can you kind of help me sort of offline talk about this thing? Because between friends, if you're like trying to share like a small part of a project or something, it's fine. But in our group especially, we don't like patterns to be shared because they're copyright. But say you have like a video call, use that message system that I talked about earlier. On Facebook, you can do the Facebook Messenger system, and you can talk about things like that, like video chat and everything, and that's really cool. So, yeah. And in fact, I think you can switch your camera. So if you did a phone, like you did it via your phone, I think you can flip the image. And so you can be like, okay, look at the thing. And then you can like focus and look down at the pattern and kind of get help from your friend, right? So anyway, those are little tips. Yeah, Stacy, back to the other one. She's not paying you to work for free. That is right. That is right. It's a free video. Like, just watch it again, dude. It just takes some extra time, but if you want it, just listen and write the note down, right? Yeah. Okay, Chris says there's someone who only does videos and not written, like when I like when her designs, watch the video and write everything down. We should be grateful for teachers like you who are doing that. Yeah, I cut off the rest of your comment, but yeah, I understand. Oh, Elizabeth, yeah, you're welcome. She's saying thanks for the video on how to pick up stitches in the painted tiles shawl. I never would have done that without your video. Oh, great. Yeah. Yeah, I picked up stitches. I went and you have to pick up stitches from the side of a panel and pull through a new stitch to be able to add on and do an edging. That's a great video for that, because you can use that technique for adding edges. So say you make a blanket and it's curling and you're like, oh my gosh, because it's like a stockinette kind, and you want to add it, or maybe like, okay, maybe you ran out of yarn, right? And you're like, oh, I made this blanket, but it's just not big enough, and you want to add an edge to go around, or border. Some people say border. Yeah, you can just use that video, and I've got other videos that pick up some stitches. But yeah, you pick it up along the side, and then you can start adding on to do a garter stitch border, or you can do a cable border. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, let's see. Hey, Cassid, seeing you jump on. Oh, Lori, yeah, your Walmart's carrying the Lion Brand Mandola. Yeah, and the Lion Brand, the Walmart should have the Burnett Pop, but yeah, Lion Brand has the, I don't know, as you call it, Mandola. So, oh, Marie, it's going to be a long week without me. Oh, big hugs. I'm going to have a short broadcast next week anyway, because my family is like wrapping up school and then my husband will be home. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, Cassie, you're wondering if there's any good ideas for learning loom knitting one-handed. I'm not sure if there's a group for that on Facebook. It would be cool if there was. There are a few people who have limited ability that way in my group, my Good Knit Kisses Loom Knit and Craft Club group. And Vanessa, excuse me. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I can't even pronounce her last name. But anyway, Vanessa's in there. And I made a video for her, and she, I have to say, was quadriplegic. She has been getting therapy, and she's still like working on her walking and everything, but oh my gosh, she's doing amazing. But when I met her, she had barely any use of her hands, especially only like one arm was really working. And she's in like one of those chairs, I call it the Superman chair. She's in one of those chairs that like stand up. She was in a car wreck years and years ago and learned how to loom knit. And then we all met her, and she asked for one-handed purling video. So I made a one-handed purling video. And she and I had like a FaceTime call. Her fiance held the phone up, and I kind of worked with her. And so then what I did is I kind of pinned my arm, and then I tried to figure out how to purl one-handed. And then I tried it with the other hand. Like I pretended like I didn't have that hand, and I pinned it behind me so that I wouldn't touch it. And so I made a video on how to purl one-handed. So I only have one video showing one-handed just because I don't have a series with that, not doing that. I just, because it's not me, because I do use both hands. But it is going to the right and to using either one. So, however, you want to do this according to your function. So like, or whoever's you're getting the video for. So you may have to sort of adapt because, you know, like appendages may be missing, or, you know, anyway, the arm range might be different. So, however, there, as a lady, Betty Hackett, she has I hope I got that right, her name right, but she has a group, for loom knitting gadgets, and she makes a holder for your loom, and you can actually put it in there and like clamp it in, and you might have to like, clamp that to something else or a table or something. That helps. Also, I have seen, there is a group on, Ravelry that they take their looms, depending on how big it is, but you know those hoops like for embroidery hoop stands, they've actually taken things like round looms and stuff and like clamped them onto those. And so I'm not an expert on that. I just know that there's a bunch of pictures. There's a group about it, or just kind of search for it in Ravelry. So if you're not on Ravelry.com, you should. It's a free site, all yarn related. And anyway, try the embroidery hoop to hold it, and then that should assist you, or whoever. Hey, Myrna, see my friend joined. Lauren says, I'm amazed you have all these websites and events locations in your head. I try. I actually have a memory issue, which you wouldn't think I do, but I do. I have to do things like over and over and over again to retain that. And I get like, if someone asks me a question, sometimes I get really stumped, and I'm like, you know, because it just wasn't part of. Anyway, sometimes I just get really stumped, and I may absolutely know the answer, but like at that moment, I can't even like recall it. And it's like, it's a real stumbling block for me. And I'm like, you know, sometimes I get stressed out. I've gotten really better about it, but yeah, I was hit in the head about 20 years ago. 95, and with this beam. And anyway, yeah, that really affected what I did for a living too. Martha says, I think you'd be good at helping with visiting women's abuse centers and show ladies how to do yarn crafts, also at high schools. Thanks, Martha. Yeah, actually, Actually, I've been thinking about doing that. There is I got to go on the mission trip, and we got to see ladies who have been rescued from trafficking and other people who are in the sex industry and going, helping prostitutes and helping like get them out or bring them stuff to help like hygiene and stuff like that. But there, I found out, and that was in Shreveport, Louisiana, but I found out there's another place in Fort Worth that's closer to me that does some of that stuff. And I thought, oh my gosh, I would love to be able to go and teach them some stuff. So, I gotta like work out how to do something in a class setting. Because of my memory issue, I work better if I have like someone assisting me. Like, I don't think I could do it all by myself because I can get really overwhelmed. You may not think I can get overwhelmed, but I can. And so I work better when I have somebody with me. Just because if I get a whole bunch of questions at once, I get like, so, we all have our limitations, right? So, that retreat that I did was really great because I had an assistant with me. So that was good. She was my sister-in-law, or she is my sister-in-law. Is there a good video? Okay. I already heard that one. Okay. What are we talking about? Late to the party as usual. Hey, Crystal. Just ask me a question. I'm just answering questions as they come. Let's see. Oh, it helped you. Good, Sandra. Good. Okay, there's fine. Sorry, I'm really behind in questions because I stopped and I did the multiple thing, which I think is good. Joanne says, I think there's a thread or page in Ravelry for people who need that. Okay, yeah. Loom knitting with disabilities. Is that the name of it? That would be great. Maybe we could find a link or something. Chris says, hey, I have this same problem with memory, but you didn't have a head injury, just old. Well, yeah, but I mean, I really do have to do things over and over and over again to get them. And then like, if it's been a while since I did something, I have to like get back into it. I kind of have to like kind of stop the world and like really like picture it in my head. And like, I'm like working the motion. They're seeing me do it. I'm like working the motions in my head. I'm like, okay, I do this. And then, you know, and I might even watch one of my old videos. Like, seriously, give myself some tips. Like, really. I'm not even going to pretend. And then I'm like, yes. Okay. Yes. Okay, I remember now. And then I can be like, okay, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll have people go, wow, you taught that better than you did last time. And I'm like, probably, you know, I had more time to think about it and I had to relearn it again. So I learned a new tip from myself. So it's just the way it is. Am I going to have guests on again like last week? I would love to do that, Robin. We could do that on Wednesday this week. I'd love to focus. I really loved having Carol on. And I loved all the people who came on, but I really loved what happened when we had Carol on because we talked about the dryer balls and she had a ton of tips. Wasn't Carol great last week? Loved the tips that she had. And it was really nice because it had a theme on it. And so I would love to have people on. But I'd kind of like to maybe see if we can focus on something. So if somebody has something they'd like to chat about, they're really good about. I mean, heck, I'd have somebody on who can make soap and tell us all about it. That would be really cool. So I'd love to have Joanne on, but she would have to be ready. And I'm not sure if she's ready to show her kiddo's face to the world because her kiddo is so cute, but she will take over. She'll get on there and be like, hi, Kristen. I say kiddo because I don't know if she wants her name said. So I'm very big on the privacy thing. So I don't want a child in the video who doesn't want to be on my channel. Joanne says, Cindy Wood has a loom that clamps to the table. Oh, thank you. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, thank you. And for the link. Forgot about that. Went on my brain. Elizabeth says those older ladies call a senior moment. Yeah, but I got it when I was 19. Yeah. So that wasn't cool. And I had never had a migraine before that. And then several months later is when I had my midterm. So this happened in the summer, a month after I met my husband. And then that October, I was in the middle of midterms and experienced my first migraine. I thought I was going to die. And yeah, that was pretty bad. Oh, Carol's blushing. Yeah, Carol is pretty awesome. Robin says, yes, I want to try those dryer balls. Yeah, she's your photo bomber. We could have Carol back on again. We should have Carol like go take notes on herself and be like, okay, here's all my tips. She's going to be a real pro. Ellie says for middle age, it's called sometimers. I'm working on it becoming, yeah, it's like, I don't want to give it a name. I'm working on it. I feel like I'm actually being healed. Like some of my memory is really coming back. Like I'm really getting better. I feel like I am. So, yeah, it was really, I'll tell you guys, my friends, y'all are here. And, anyway, I had a hard time. Nobody knew it, but I was kind of having a bit of anxiety about, on the Knit and Crochet Now show. And, I had to do all my stuff and they gave me like some of the hardest projects to do. I have 3 projects that are not my own, and one of them is a British pattern, a UK pattern. And I was like, so when I went to teach them, I mean, I was like, I had to really get in there and, you know, like remind myself about the pattern because I had to make all the things beforehand, all the samples. And then, you know, like right before I'm going on, I'm like, so like the last 2 that I recorded were actually back to back and I didn't have a break between them. And I was sweating it, like, wow. So yeah, I was like, okay, I gotta remember all the things because I didn't want to leave out a really sweet tip, right? So I had all these notes and I had done them in like, I had note cards that were brightly colored and then I had like highlights on certain things and like bold here. And they were like, yeah, you can't use that. It needs to be like a white note card, no color, you know. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I have a valid excuse for my memory. I know I don't usually talk about it, but I also want to let you guys know that it's okay. You know, if you forget something, it's okay and go back to, and then the thing is I've got all those videos. It's like, man, I'm real patient with people at 3 a.m. Like I'm not, you know, you're just watching me over and over again. I don't change. I'm never, you know, I'm never, getting after you. Oh, you didn't do that right. You know, like if you ever had a teacher, like you ever get taught by a family member and they were just kind of lost their patience with you. I don't lose my patience on video because it's recorded. I don't really lose my patience when teaching someone here at the house either, but I'm just saying, like, maybe I might with one of my kids because in the middle, because they'll be a little more frustrated. Your kids will be harder with you than they are with other people. Like, I'm like, you don't treat your teachers this way. And they're like, no. but I have heard horror stories of people's, you know, someone teaching them and being really hard on them. And then it actually interfered with them continuing in knitting or crochet, or they made them be right-handed when they're actually left-handed. That is frustrating to me. And so I hear that and that makes me sad. So anyway, yeah, migraines are terrible. Okay, Carol, just a dryer ball tip. Buy 100% wool or cotton sweaters from a thrift shop and recycle them into dryer balls. Yes, 100% cotton will work as a dryer ball. Okay, that is a great tip. Also, if it is if it has a little bit of acrylic in it though, I'm not sure you would be able to tell. Now, there's a burn test that you can do. And see if it burns. If it melts, it's fake. Like it's a man-made. But the wool and the cotton are not gonna burn like that. However, but the combination, it'll show. I think if some part of it is melting, that means it'll show that it's not 100%. I think that's the way to do it. I haven't ever had to do that. Okay, and Robin says, does the cotton get felted or is it just a ball of cotton yarn? Yeah, it does felt up a little bit, I want to say. I think she uses the same technique that she showed last time. Thanks for the reminder, Chris. Oh, your Aunt Speedy Gonzalez with tatting and got ADD. That wasn't the best combo. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, well, that's, sorry, I just cracked my knuckles. Yeah, I don't know that I could do tatting. Anyway, I can see how we're doing on time. It's 10 o'clock. Viewership is going down. I see y'all leaving. Let's see. Cool says, don't worry about getting older and losing your memory. At age 40, it becomes life's over again. At the age of 40, life becomes over again. Yeah, I know people are like, you know, over the hill. And I'm like, I actually like going downhill. So this is cool. I like roller coasters. Why is over the hill bad? Why? I worked really hard to get here. And I have a younger face. And so I was always getting like the older diss, like, you'll understand when you're older. And you'll understand when you're in your 30s. I'm like, I am in my 30s. You know? You know, and when you're going into a business meeting and selling a product that costs like $100,000, you know, and then, you know, they're expecting someone who's like 10 years older than you or looking older than you, and yeah, you get that snub, you know. I'm like, but I am older. You're just way behind the ears. So I'm like, I own my 41. I own my age now. Anyway. All right, cool. Well, I am just blabbering on and on and on. No more questions. We're just chatting. So let me ask you a question. Would y'all like to have Carol on and just talk about the dryer balls one day, and we can just rehash it and only talk about the dryer balls one day? And we could do that, you know, maybe we could do that next week. And we could have on somebody else. So if someone else would like to come on this Wednesday and do something, we could totally do that. I can also just talk it over with Carol and Joanne separately and see what everybody's sort of consensus is. But I think that's great. I might just take what Carol came on and just make a snippet video of that. But I would love to have her on live, and then you can really dedicate your questions to her. Because she came back later and she's like, oh, I meant to say you can also use cotton, because she didn't say cotton last week. She just said wool. So, Melissa, I turned 46 last week and I was told I'm halfway to die. Nice. Hey, you've got 46 more years. And you don't have to go through puberty. and you can, yeah, and nobody can tell you you have to go to bed. Or you have to get up and you can't sleep late if you, except for your boss, maybe. So that's a really odd thing for them to say to you. But let's just look at the better part of that. I have 46 more years to party and have fun. Just kidding. My partying is like having my friends over and we kick our feet back and watch a movie and I knit. Or I go out to the movies, except I can't take my knitting, so I like to do it at home. Oh, that's great, Elizabeth. Oh, that's great. She's got a friend who's 90, a lady friend who's 96, lives on her own by herself, is still going strong. She taught me how to knit. That's excellent. And Ellie says, as long as I can dress up for Halloween, chuck a snowball, and balance on a curb, I'll never get old. Hey, throw a snowball from the curb on Halloween, and you are really... Okay, yes on the dryer balls. Yes on the dryer balls. Oh, happy birthday. Why did I say that? Is today your birthday? Last week. Happy late birthday. I had to go back. Oh my gosh. You turned 36. Heather, you turned 36. Happy birthday Eve, Heather. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Heather. Happy birthday to you. That's awesome. All right. Well, you guys have a great day. I hope that it is fantastic. We'll see you on Wednesday, and be sure and tune in on Friday to the Yarnspirations blog and stuff, and I'll let you guys know about it. I'll probably go live and on YouTube or something and remind you to hop over there. So anyway, y'all have a great day. Happy knitting and crochet. Bye, everyone.